starting off this week with about 100 companies reporting, but it's being led off by one of the FANGs, by Netflix. So I thought I'd take a look at all of the FANG stocks. Who has the best chart? I do this video every quarter, but this quarter it's a little more interesting because some of the charts are a little bit different. So what's going on with the FANGs? Let's dive right in and check them out. So the first stock we are going to look at is Netflix, ticker NFLX, of course. As you can see, they had a great track record with just those two misses back in 2017 until the pandemic hit, and then it was miss, miss, miss. And then even though the shares took off at the initial start of the pandemic because we were all stuck inside streaming everything, they've since basically stopped going up. They're treading water here for numerous months. And in fact, here to start in 2021, they're actually down about 8% here to start the year. So what's going on? Can this stock break out here further, or will it break down? That seems to me what we're looking at with a lot of these large cap, hyper growth stocks, is that they've kind of reached an inflection point, and this is going to be a critical earnings report to see what's going to happen with these shares, at least in the near term, the next couple of months. But let's take a look at Apple. This one, not so much of the treading water, but had a little bit of it until just recently when it did finally bust out again to new highs. So this one did not break down. It has the best earnings track record out of all the FANGs, with just that one miss back in 2016. So the beat or the meet is probably going to happen again here. But can it keep this momentum? Can it be one of the few FANGs that continues to make these new highs here in 2021? And then one of the troublemakers, Facebook. But you can see kind of a similar story here. Got a big boost after the initial sell-off of the pandemic and hit those new highs, but now is back on the decline there a bit. It looks like it's trying to maybe break down here. It's got two big beats in a row, but we now have it back in the spotlight for various reasons, including what's going on in Washington, D.C., with that protest rally in the beginning of the year. So this is one that you just never know what's going to happen on the earnings report. It is among the cheapest of the FANGs now. It's trading at just 23 times. So will it get even cheaper here? Maybe some value investors might start poking around. We'll see. Then switching over to Amazon. Now, this is a big pandemic winner, and you can see those two big beats in a row right here. Whoops, don't want my thing to come down there, but two big beats, big one there, big one there. But the shares had already priced them in. The shares have already taken off, being that it basically was one of the key retailers during the pandemic, both in groceries and basically everything else. And these shares also moving just sideways, just like Netflix. A little bit of weakness here to start 2021. And the same questions we're asking about Netflix. Is this going to break higher or break lower here? And as far as valuation, among not as expensive as you might think, given where the shares have gone. It's now trading at 69 times forward. And I say that's not expensive because Amazon not that long ago was trading much more with higher PE valuations of 80 to 90 times. So 69 times, not that bad because that E side is also on the rise with Amazon. But this is one for those momentum investors we're going to be watching. But as you can see here, through 2018 to 2020, it also had this big long period of consolidation before the next big breakout. So maybe it won't even break down and we could see further continuation of this kind of consolidation period. But this is definitely one everyone's going to be watching. And then we're going to wrap it up with Google. This one has always kind of been, dismissed to some extent by a lot of the other FANG investors, but it's got a good track record now. It used to have much poorer on the earnings beat side, but it's put together quite a few green arrows there in the last couple of years. Sure, there's a few reds, but it used to miss almost every quarter, and it's no longer doing that. also had a big beat last quarter. A lot of worries about Google with its advertising revenue because it's so dependent on travel revenue and that area, which has really been hit by the pandemic. But it's seemingly overcoming that. But here too, you start to see a little bit of treading water, not as extensive as Amazon or Netflix, but kind of waiting for the next catalyst to see where these shares are going to go. They're trading at 27 times. Alphabet used to be the cheapest among the FAANG stocks, but now supplanted by Facebook, as I mentioned, but still under the 30 times. So as far as FAANG goes, that's pretty cheap. And this one, again, we're also going to be watching to see whether or not it breaks up or down. So, as I said, these are some interesting charts from the FANG names here because we've been so used to them kind of making new highs and continuously rising in 2020 that it's a little bit unique and different to see them suddenly trending in these narrow trading ranges for quite a bit of time, other than Apple, which did have that breakout to end 2020. But this is a interesting earnings season that we're going to see as we head into the recovery now from the pandemic. The pandemic plays might not be the place you want to be for 2021, but we're going to find out. And just as a full disclosure, I own a couple of the FANGs, as I'm sure many of you own one or all of them in your portfolios, but I own Facebook and Alphabet and Amazon in mine. So I'm going to be tuning in like everyone else this earnings season. You don't want to miss a single episode of our Earnings All Stars videos because I'm going to be bringing you all the top stocks as we go along every week. And there's plenty of them right now to report about. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. You can get it at zacks.com/YouTube or search for it on YouTube under Zacks Investment Research. But either way, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time with some more earnings charts.